Ahead of the Game podcast can explore potentially sensitive and triggering topics throughout each episode, including but not limited to mental health, physical health, trauma, addiction, and even death. If at any time you become triggered or impacted, please connect with your local resources or report to your local emergency room. Ahead of the Game is not intended to be a substitute for professional mental advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All opinions expressed by Ahead of the Game guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of the Ahead of the Game host, Sage Elite Healing, or its team of professionals. Always seek the advice of your licensed medical professional regarding questions or concerns with your mental and physical health. Please know there is help and you're not alone. All right, how are we doing? Welcome to Ahead of the Game podcast with myself, Mark Van Steenberg, Mr. Brandon Bostic, Mr. Zach Moore, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. TJ Fischer. Man, we're going to bring a totally different perspective today. Mr. TJ Fischer. A brand new one.
One I know nothing about.
I mean, this is one where I'm actually going to be learning today.
My life, and it was so loud. I was like, oh my god.
Where'd you go? What race were you at?
It was in like North Carolina. I think it was like I want to say the Coca-Cola 500. It was one of those races.
The Coke 600.
Hey, so Mr. TJ, race car driver. Wants to race anything on any type of wheel, right? On any type of surface. You know, if there's a racetrack anywhere near you, you might find Mr. TJ Fischer. So tell me, man, knowing the athletic mind, where did you get that drive for that acceleration and that speed? I know that's almost like a drug as well. Where did you kind of pick that up along your way?
Oh, yeah. Racing is it's a drug, first and foremost. It's like, it's an addiction after, like, I've been doing it since I was 7 or 8 years old in go-karts. My dad was like a local go-kart, local legend in the go-kart ranks. But it was just like, it was a super small track, whatever. So I grew up there and like, I was just at a go-kart track every weekend and like, I'd help wrench for my dad and caught the bug. The weird thing is though, is that like, I'm not like a fast guy. Like I'm actually pretty, like my pace in everyday life is slow. Yeah. And you find with drivers like that, like they're kind of like more slower than you would imagine. We're not the speediest.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cause it's like, it's weird. Cause it's like, you almost slow down when you race, but you have to slow it down because it's so fast. It's like, you see like a fighter pilot or whatever, it's happening so fast, but for them it's slow.
Yeah. I mean, just
TJ,
even
so growing up, you always wanted to be like a driver?
Pro driver. Yeah.
Like that was
something.
Your dream? Like, you always want to be a pro driver?
I wanted to race an IndyCar. That's what I wanted to do. Like do the 500.
Oh, okay.
Big race or Formula 1 too. Like me and my dad watched that, but like, yeah, Formula 1 is so big right now in the States, but yeah, like anything, I would race anything. I saw like any kind of racing and like, yeah, sign me up. Like, let's do it.
Well, I mean, you race multiple different types of cars, correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
I got into.
I looked at some of the pictures I saw of doing my research of you. Is like I saw different types of cars, and so I was like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna let him describe all that.
Well, yeah, I've raced open wheel cars, which was kind of like the path to IndyCar. Okay. But then I started racing Porsches and got into sports car racing, and then got into Baja racing, desert racing, basically. So those are some like home built like off road machines that are just like the craziest car. It's the craziest car. Like you go over the craziest terrain, and you're out there like blasting through the desert. So I've kind of like I've done a lot of different disciplines.
That's so awesome. I mean, I think as you, thinking about the athletic mind, with Brandon and Zach, you guys, you practice around the clock, and then you kind of had that 4 to 5 hours on Sunday to kind of explode and go fast. Kind of, TJ, you're saying you're slow during your event, right? You're mentally slow. I know football is exertion in little short bursts. 8 to 10 seconds, man, I can't even, I mean, I've been on road trips before, but I can't even fathom being able to like hold your body in that position for an extended period of time and be slow with everything else fast going around you.
I think what ends up happening is like you just get super like present. You get like completely in the moment. It's like it's full flow state, like anything else, you know, and like time
Right,
slips
yeah,
away.
yeah.
And like the thing is, you have to be super precise, like on the racetrack. It's like you got to be assassin like precise. There's no margin for error. So you have to be there every moment. Like your head has to be there. The race car is like just it's an extension of your body. Every movement that you do is like
Interesting, yeah.
you know, it changes the way the car goes over the bump or like turns, all the stuff. So you have to be present with it the whole time. And driving the car on the limit means like, yeah, it's every moment the car, that's as fast as it can go, you know? Like, so it's an intense thing to do it for not only a lap, but then like 40 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
Right,
the
right.
craziest like sprint almost. So it's like you have to kind of control yourself, you know, temper yourself.
I mean, excuse my weak analogy, but it's almost like riding a bull for like an hour. You know what I mean? You know, that's where my
TJ,
mind.
how fast are you going?
In the Porsche, it's like, yeah, it's 170 ish. But like doing
Like
doing
for how
one,
long? An hour? How long is a race?
yeah, like 40 minutes. 40
Okay.
minutes. There's other races
That's
like
crazy.
the Baja races that we do. Those races are like 30 hours. And
Oh man,
yeah,
30
Those-
hours.
Yeah,
30
those are those
hours.
enduro races. Yeah.
it's the Baja 1000, so it's a
Oh, that's
1,000-mile race. So it just, you know, it depends on the
crazy.
discipline.
Yeah.
I had a question about the NASCAR racing, and I'm pretty sure I could Google this, but I want to hear it from your perspective. Why do they only drive turning left? Like, why not go like turn right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think they did it for the fans. It was like a stadium kind of way of racing. And they can just race in front of a crowd, you know? And so like that's how it started. So they've kept it going. It's part of the tradition of it. But they're starting to do like more road course racing. And it's like the best. Those cars on a road course is just like it's those cars are so hot. It's another thing you don't think about is like I didn't realize it. Like in an open wheel car, you're all exposed and it's nice. When you're in a car, these cars are completely stripped out. There's no AC. You're literally just cooking in there. Like when we were racing in Austin a couple months ago, it was 110 at the track. So in the car it was like 140, almost 150. And like doing a 40-minute race in that, you get baked. Like your brain is at like a level that it's like your skin's crawling. You know, you're heated up and like it's hard. It's tough.
Well, I think, you know, that's a beautiful segue into my next question. And my next question is basically based off of how we do things here at Sage Elite. We really focus on the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual realms. And so speaking of your brain and, you know, your thoughts being baked, how do you operate within that mental realm within the car? I know you said assassin-like, you said precise, you know, you're on top of it. I guess can you dive more into more of that mental thought process and maybe even the preparation to get to that mental thought process?
I think it's like different for everybody. Like specific to, you know, I try to always visualize before I go out there. It's like something that's just routine for me. And so you want to get into a rhythm, but for me, I have to almost like push myself to be more aggressive. Like I need to push myself to be there. Whereas other drivers, sometimes they're like naturally like super aggressive. And so they need to tell themselves to like, take it easy, you know, chill a little bit. Like you're still going fast, but you need to chill. So part of that is like getting into a space where I'm like, it's not driving angry, but it's like, there's an intensity to it. And I try to like visualize, push myself there. And then like, you kind of just focus up and go there. And like, I think probably one of the things I try to work on is I think it's inevitable that you're going to like get distracted. You know, it's a long race. There's going to be lulls in it. There's energy. There's the same thing with like a football game. Like there's lulls in it. There's parts of it where all of a sudden you're starting to think of like random shit.
You're not like looking at like, you're not like looking at yourself in the mirror and like
Totally. Yeah,
having time. As you pass somebody, you're like
later. But yeah, so it's
Hey TJ, I got a question.
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, what's going on? Like, what do you think about when you're racing? Like, do you have a strategy? Like you and your team came up with a strategy to win. Like what's going on?
Get to the front.
Like in your mind when you're racing, like before. Oh, just get to the
Get
front.
to the
But that's
front.
everybody's goal though. Like everyone's
Win
trying
it.
to get to the front. Like,
Right.
Is there a certain strategy?
It's a sprint race. What the racing that I'm doing is like a sprint race. It's a 40-minute sprint race. There's no pit stops. So it's kind of like it's a high intensity race, and the faster that you can get to the front pack, the better chance you're going to have at winning. So like the strategy is usually always like get a good start and like don't crash, but also like take like attack opportunities. And then I think you got to be strategic in the way you pass people. That's where the chess match is. You got to it's
Okay.
yeah.
Trying to find your line and stick to it, and
Yeah, and you can trick people into it's almost head games. Like you can trick people into defending a little bit that throws them off their line, and it just creates opportunities,
you said that you have to kind of prepare yourself, or you seem like a very relaxed dude, a chill guy. So with everything else going around you, you kind of have to kind of get yourself to like get fast kind of, or to prepare to kind of compete at that level, right?
Yeah.
I know Brandon and Zach, I know that you guys probably had your own routines too of getting prepared to go into that arena. What's your prep look like?
Yeah, what's your pregame routine?
Is that like warm up style or like
Yeah,
prep?
like what do you do?
Yeah,
What do you do to get you going and get you in that zone?
I
think
always like to ask the 24 hours before.
Yeah.
24
Okay,
hours.
24 hours. I think it's like at night you gotta detach from the thing a little bit, and it's hard to, but it's like go get dinner. Like usually it's gonna be a carb load situation, and then it's like, and it's a good meal. It's a hearty. It's whatever makes you feel good. And then the next morning, like you try to just get good sleep. That's what I always try to focus on a race weekend. Is like it's hard. Everything's like super busy. You got other obligations, but getting 8 hours, just like, especially in racing and I'm sure football too, it's like reaction time is so big. Reaction time is like really crucial. It's like if you lose out on sleep, like that's reaction time that's just lost. Like you can't make it up, So I try to focus on that. And then before I throw the football. That's like the best thing for me is just like,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there you go.
toss, it's like a little pitch and catch, like just got to do it. I think it's good with like just catching something, like hand-eye coordination. It's all in it. And then I do like a breathing exercise.
Bro,
when
listen,
get in the
I've
car.
had some of my best therapy sessions throwing a ball.
Really, yeah.
True that. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's really, especially working with kids, like they really like to play catch, and dude, they get there. So no, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Sorry. Just agreeing with you.
Yeah. And then I do a little bit of like a breathing exercise too. I think that's what puts me into the more like aggressive head state, like that pumps me up a little bit, is like doing the breathing.
The breathing. I mean, let's kind of focus on that breathing component there. That we're all about focusing on the breath. We understand the importance of the breath. What's that breathing routine look like for you?
Well, it's like I always do it when I'm strapped in the car, because you kind of like you have to get in the car like usually like half an hour before you're actually racing. You go through the different like, staging, like you're in pit lane, and then it's all the stuff they're introducing. So like you're kind of like just strapped in, and you're like you've cooled down by that point. You're just like waiting, and so it's like I feel like that's really where
Stuck in traffic.
completely in traffic. You're just like your mind will just go places, and so like instead of doing that, I just try to like I'm in the car, I'm already strapped in, like I'll just do the breathing, and like it's easy to just focus on the breath. It's like I'm not going anywhere else but here, and then I'll do some visualization.
Do you
and
do
like
any
a minute.
specific like breathing routines or anything like that?
It's like
like box breathing or like 4-7-8, anything like that. I mean,
don't-
everybody
I don't
has
know.
these different approaches. Like everybody does their own thing.
I think I do. It's like Wim Hof breathing, which is
Okay.
I don't know what it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, you guys know Wim Hof?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I really like a lot of Wim Hof's cold plunge, cold therapy, for resetting the brain. I absolutely believe in that. I tell a lot of people, man, calm down, go hold ice. Go hold 2 things of ice in your hands and just squeeze them until they turn to water. And just breathe. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I find his to like be like there was one where you can kind of like charge yourself up, and you like hold and squeeze it up. It's like does
Yeah,
something.
flexing and releasing the muscles. Yeah. Tensing and releasing. So, I got a question. What about road rage? Emotionally, going into the emotional realm. I mean, you know, some dude's on your ass. I mean, that's the one I can't stand when people are on my ass. I know I'm in a race, but still, give me some space, bro.
Like road rage on the track. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, don't. Yeah, I mean, it has to be. I mean, you see all these videos of the drivers fist fighting each other after they wreck.
Yeah.
You know, emotions are high in those cars. The temperature's hot. You know, come on.
It's just everything is intensified. All your emotions are at like everything's out of 10, you know? And like you just, especially if you're caught up in it too. Oh my God. Road rage is a thing for sure. And
do you get caught up in it, TJ?
I try not to. I try not to. There's been a couple times where it got the best of me. Yeah, there's a couple incidents.
What's one reason to get you like pissed off? What's something that got to you one time and your emotions got the best of you?
I mean,
it was like sharing.
It was this car this year I got taken out like 3 different times by him, and
Oh wow.
Oh man.
yeah, and it was just like I was like, yo, if I see it, because his car was green, it was just like this green obnoxious. It was like if I see
What do you mean green? What does that
paint,
mean? Oh, like green, like the color green?
the color green, like on my car, like
Okay.
you're gonna find the fence. Like you're gonna find the fence. So,
Robin, I from you know, the movie Days of Thunder.
Totally.
According to that, rubbing is racing.
rubbing is racing.
What's rubbing? What does that mean?
Is that true?
Rubbing fenders.
Rubbin's
yeah.
racing?
For sure.
Oh, rubbing.
Rubbin's
fenders?
racing, yeah.
Rubbin's
Like,
racing.
like on someone's ass.
Up on someone's ass, grinding on their side. That's
Packing the
racing.
fender.
You know what I mean?
Ah.
So what do you guys do to prepare to like before a game?
As much as like what you do, like, you know, for me, I know game days, it was all about nutrition, what I'm putting in my body the night before, the morning of. Make sure I have that fuel for the games. It is, you know, a physical 3 hours of, you know, bang, bang, running around, all of that stuff. And, you know, I get to the stadium real early, probably like, you know, 2 or 3 hours before the game. Usually, and especially on away games, they have like different buses. So they have the early bus, you know, they'll have like another bus will get there like maybe like an hour or two before the game. They have the late bus, which, you know, it'll get
Bostic, you're on the late bus, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
I'm getting early. I gotta get on the field. I gotta, you know, get the terrain, the smell, the surface, the fans. And I gotta be immersed in the atmosphere to get myself ready. And then, you know, it's all about, you know, maybe getting in the cold tub, going down the field, kind of, you know, running around, trying to get my body prepared for, you know, the game. And then, you know, it's up from there.
That's crazy. My routine was way different from Zach's. I was always on the last bus come to the stadium.
So you just go right into
I
it.
hear you talk about your pregame. I go right into it. Like pregame meal, I never ate pregame meals. I just popped an Adderall. Like I wake up in the morning, pop an Adderall, drink a shake. I'm going to the stadium on the last bus. I was so relaxed. I was just chilling. But like an hour before the game, I would have to hype myself up, TJ. Like, cause I was like you. Like I'm just a relaxed person. Like I'm chilling. Like I'm not trying to hurt nobody, but I had to like really hype myself up and psych myself up to get into this mind.
You're going into battle.
I always tell people like a different character. I had to go into this put this costume on and really turn into a different person. So that's really when I turned it on. Like I didn't go out to warm up early. Like I was last at everything, but like an hour before the game, I could flip that switch for sure. Once my Adderall kicked in, like I was a fucking monster. I could do whatever I wanted to do for
That's
at
hilarious.
least 4 or 5 hours.
So you're more of a helicopter approach. Zach's more of the airplane approach to approach and land. And
2 total different approaches, but definitely now, like if I was playing now, I'd definitely have a way better routine. Like I would definitely have a more healthier routine than like what I was doing when I was playing.
TJ, do you have different routines for different types of races? And you know what I mean? Like I know that, you know, different durations and, you know, different cars. I know that all kind of plays a factor in that mental and emotional state.
Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to plan for like a race start because it's so like, you can't predict what's going to happen. you know. But the good thing is, like in like Carrera Cup is what I race in. Like it's a 40-minute race, and you can kind of like, you know, the strategy, you know, the track. Like there's a lot you already know about. When we do desert racing, that's like super unknown. It's like you almost have to like clear your mind and just like be open to whatever's about to happen, you know, because like we didn't pre-run, so we don't like know what's coming up. We have a GPS, but it's like it's slow, it doesn't load, it always like loses connection, you know. It's like you just got to like follow the trail and charge, and like it's the exact opposite of what I do on the track, because like everything is like it's all like very analytical, and you like scientific, you review data, you like really get into the details.
Yeah.
In the desert, it's like those details do not matter at all. There's so much terrain out there to cover. Like it's all about just pace. And like, so you just got to like change your mind and be open. I feel like in desert racing, you got to be open to like the whole thing. 250 miles of like whatever this is going to throw at me.
Right. I mean, there, and correct me if I'm wrong. There's two drivers in that car, and you guys rotate back and forth, correct?
Yeah, the co-driver will usually run with us, and then we'll like at a pit stop throw in another two guys, and then you kind of just like, we usually run with like 4 drivers and 4 co-drivers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be intense for all 4 parties, and I also know when you break down out in the middle of nowhere, it's up to the 4 of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
To keep that car moving. So that's a whole other component, you know, that is on top of being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, we got stuck in the Baja Desert overnight, and like we were out there for like 15 hours, and it was like,
Oh man,
it was like it turned into like a survival moment, you know. And we were like totally not prepared for that. We were actually lucky because we put Camelbacks like on the seat, and so you can just kind of like sip it while you race. But for whatever reason, it just like wasn't working, which I feel like always happens with Camelbacks. But like whatever, like it's gonna happen.
I gave up on those.
Yeah, like, but it didn't work, luckily. And so when we broke down, we had like a full bladder of Camelback, and so we just like rationed it the whole time. It was just like, it was ridiculous. And the thing is, like, we're trying to fix the car for like that whole time too. Like, cause it's like, if we can fix it and get back, at least we can we were in a complete remote location, you know? And like, the only thing that could get to us is like another race car or like a chopper. That's it. So like, we just had to try to I don't know, tie a tow strap to like get the arm up, because we totally wrecked the right front of the car. Like we were dragging it, like we'd make it like a couple feet, and then it was like the longest thing ever, longest day I've ever experienced.
How do you decompress after all of that? After all going, I mean, we talked about how you prepare to enter. How the hell do you prepare to exit that?
Yeah, it's like
how are you feeling after a race?
It's an adrenaline hangover for sure. Like,
oh man,
yeah, I didn't realize how much of an adrenaline junkie I was until I went and raced Baja, and then it was just like, okay, yeah, this is. Yeah.
What does the adrenaline hangover feel like?
I feel like it's just like, it's even the anticipation.
Like to people who don't know what that feels like.
Well, I don't know. You might get it in for games too. Like it's almost like Saturday. There's a buildup, you know, like your energy levels coming up. Your body is getting ready to like go to battle, you know, and then on Sunday it's like there's more energy and there's more like, you know, you have this big task in front of you, and so like, I don't know. Is there adrenaline in games? It probably definitely is, right?
Hell yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, the next day it's just like you're almost missing it. Like life is so just like there's nothing happening, and it's like almost dull, you know. And you kind of just like you have to reset. I live, yeah, that's why I live like on a ranch now, because it's just like I love the quiet pause, you know, to just like get away from it.
Yeah. Kind of, it sounds like it's like almost like a complete crash and burn almost, and you have to kind of regenerate. Do you sleep long after that? Do you replenish the nutrients and then like food coma it in crash and burn and replenish while you sleep? Like, you know, a lot of people enter it differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not healthy, but like a whiskey is like great, you know, on a Sunday. Just ease your way into it and then get some sleep, like as much as you can. I feel like I can't that well. I don't know why. It's like maybe you're just like used to that hit of adrenaline or something, and then it's not there. It's kind of it's weird. And then you just kind of roll back into it. I feel like the easiest way is to just like go for a run and like fight through it. You know, I don't know if that's right.
So yeah, I mean, well, listen, there's no right or wrong. I think, that's how you in your body have developed that system to kind of relax after you've just really utilized a lot of energy. I think understanding. Can you kind of switch it up here? Can you kind of, explore or explain what the physical toll is of racing on the body?
Yeah, but I wanted.
These guys want to know.
You are locked in that position for a very long time, and I know for me, sitting for a long time, like my body feels like, all right, we got to move. So I can only imagine how that is sitting in the car for long periods of time.
That's painful. It's like the back. My back is that's the whole thing, and then the neck too. And I'm tall. Like I'm a taller driver.
How tall are you, TJ?
6'2". Like I'm tall for a driver. I'm not that.
How tall are drivers? Like what's their height usually?
I feel like it's more like horse jockey.
Like average.
5'8", 5'10" ish.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you have to get a bigger car or what, TJ? Like
No,
you have a different,
they don't make anything differently. It's just
really?
You just got to fit.
You're
okay.
Knees up and everything.
So you get like no knee pain at all, or what? No knee pain?
Yeah. I mean, like when I crashed, like my knee hit the dash, which I think I got taken out at this Toronto street race this year, and like it wasn't like I didn't hit my head on anything. Like that was all good. It was just my knee when I hit the concrete wall. Like my knee hit the dash, and it was like I felt like it was bruised on the inside of my knee. Painful.
TJ, what you do for your body? You lift weights? I know you say you like running. You like going for runs. Like, what do you do for your body? Like,
I think it's like I try to just keep it moving. Like it's either hiking or running or whatever I can do, push-ups, and there's some specialized like exercises you can do. Like the neck stuff is pretty good for a driver, just because you have so much like G-force, and like you just if you're not used to it, like it'll really take its toll, and like after a couple days, like you can't even fight it like through a corner, and it's like you can't even think. So it really helps to train the neck muscle, and then it's also like
oh, go ahead.
Well, it's also like braking is like the brake pedal. You got to like smash the pedal. So it's a lot. You got to like train leg strength and like core and all that. It's just like holding yourself in there.
Does it make a difference, like if you're a better athlete or not? Like if you're like does that make a difference in racing?
I think
like the more conditioned person.
Yeah,
like the more conditioned driver.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. That's a good question. I think you have to be in pretty good shape, but I don't think that it ultimately like it will determine the winner. Because some people
right?
Some people like there's probably like they're better, like they're mentally stronger. So even if maybe they're depleted a little bit, like they're just going to fight through it and like keep it going and But yeah, I think if you have to be at a certain level to just not be like so depleted halfway through the race,
Okay.
Yeah, but there is a training. There is like you have to be like almost in racing shape. It's like holding this like pretty high intensity for 40 minutes or an hour, however long the race is. At the end of it, 30 minutes, you're going to be pretty worked, and like the more that you can be ready for that is like, it's going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be up into that physical shape at least to be able to hold yourself in the car and being able to go around the turns and stuff like that to a certain point to actually be able to climb the ranks too.
Yeah,
and stay composed. Yeah, interesting. Do you have a personal trainer? Does your team provide you with one? Do you and your dad kind of focus it and keep it kind of more homegrown? How do you approach that?
I did. I've had various trainers like through my career, and so now I just kind of like I use like a mixture of like what's worked for me, like what I've done in the
Right.
past that like I saw results from, and just kind of like stay on that. I try to keep it pretty simple, and like just doing it is good, and I'm sure I need to get more like practiced at it, because that's like that's the next component of it, is like, being able to stay focused for a 2 or 3 hour race. You got to train for that. Like, and
Right.
not like physically, but mentally too. Like I have a simulator, so I can train for an hour and like drive, because the mental aspect of it is so big. It's like you're processing so much so long. You have to practice it, So yeah, it's like this combination of like you work out and then you go sim and then you like go back and forth.
That's like your practice, CJ. Like you go work out and then you go drive. That's like your training for the day, or like week. How many times a week do you do that?
Well, yeah, you can't really,
Or like you
don't-
practice every day, or what?
on the sim. I probably do it a couple times a week, 3 or 4 times. But like like getting on track, it doesn't happen all the time. Like that's the different thing about like practicing and racing versus like football or basketball or something, where you can pick up a ball every day.
Right. Yeah. It's
But like a
expensive
race
to
car,
practice racing, isn't it?
so expensive.
Oh, it is. So
So expensive.
I like for the gas. Obviously, the gas and the crew. So you have to like really be strategic with your
Tires.
practices.
Tires, engine,
Yeah.
something's gonna break. Always does. So
Yeah.
it's gonna cost money. It's expensive.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, being able to actually practice true to the sense of racing has to be super expensive. Yes.
TJ, so growing up, like you didn't play in those sports?
I did. I played football and basketball and like, I played them through high school. Like it was, like all of it.
Oh, you played high school football?
Yeah. Yeah. I was a
What
receiver.
position you play?
Here,
Nice.
here comes the questions, TJ. what was your number?
15.
So when did you figure out like football? Like when did you figure out like football wasn't for me? Like let's go to racing. Like when did you start to take that serious?
Yeah. I mean, like my 40 times was like, this isn't going to work out for me.
And you're from California, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And like people are running it, like they're throwing down 4.4s and 4.3s. It's just like, this isn't going to work out for me. Like,
I'm gonna go drive. Huh?
yeah. I was like a receiver on a
Quickly
wing
went
tee.
from running back to tight end.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, he's a wing T receiver.
Yes.
Oh, you definitely wasn't getting no love.
I know. I get thrown to like 5 times a game. So it's like, I better catch it.
Yeah, probably a slant route or a
Always.
vertical.
Slant
That's
and then
all
like
you
a
get.
fake slant. Flag.
That's dope.
So TJ, were you racing while you were participating in those sports too? Like I'm assuming, since your dad was a racer and he was the go-kart guru, right? And people knew him for that.
Yeah, I was doing both. I would like, that was the thing, is like, I'd still do the games. And then like, if there was a conflict, I just wouldn't go race. So I kind of tried to do it like out of season and everything. But then, yeah, like it was like after high school, it was just like, I mean, I love racing. This is what I want to do. There was no question, you
Right.
know, and it was obvious. I
TJ, you
wasn't
have any?
going anywhere.
Do you get any concussions playing football?
I don't know if, like for sure, there was never like a diagnosed one, but there was definitely some times where helmet to helmet and like, I saw green and there was stars and like, it was painful, it's not good.
Like, what about like getting tackled? Like, what about getting tackled versus wrecking your car? I know that sounds crazy, but you can't compare it. But like, how does that?
Kind of is.
Like, how can you compare those two?
Yeah. Like getting hit really hard kind of is the same feeling. Yeah. I haven't really
really?
thought about that. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's an impact,
That's what I was thinking. I know you said you reckon
It's
like your
blunt
body.
force trauma, right? Right to the
yeah,
body.
exactly. Right to the body. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you get hit. Like, yeah.
Like, do you get concussions in? Obviously, racing, you get concussions. Like, is that like a diagnosed thing? Like,
Yeah. I
do you
have
not race because I got a concussion, or what? Is it like not really
Yeah.
strict? Like, what's the deal with that?
No, they do a bunch of like concussion testing because it's like,
So they have concussion protocols too.
yeah, big time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's a pretty common injury in racing because it's like you have this like roll cage
really?
around you and it's like, it's pretty close to everything. It's supposed to protect you. But when you hit the wall and
Right.
like, it's not how fast you're going, it's how quickly you stop. And so like that, all that force, you just,
Oh shit! I never thought about that.
You hit the
I never
metal.
thought about that.
Made my
Even though you're-
stomach hurt, TJ.
yeah, yeah. All your organs, everything.
Yeah, it's not about how fast you're going, it's how fast you stop.
Yeah.
TJ, so say like you get in a wreck, like and you're like Jordan, like do you try to like snap back in it? Like what's going on in your head when you get in? Like I know
I
sometimes
haven't-
like you can't keep going, or sometimes you keep going. Or
Yeah.
like say you hit your head, you keep going or what?
I mean, I haven't had that, luckily, where it was that big of contact.
Oh, nice.
I have where I've gotten like hit so hard, like my helmet like fell down like over my face, which was like,
Oh shit!
no, from the back. And it was just like, boom. Like you feel that all through your neck and stuff. But no, I haven't had like a big one. But my sponsor, he had a couple like gnarly wrecks and it was him hitting the roll bar. That was the problem.
Oh.
And like you have a helmet on and everything, but you hit this metal thing at that speed. And it was like, once he had a couple, it was like he couldn't race anymore. Because it was just like, if you get one more of these, like it's going to be bad. You know?
Do you have a mouthpiece in or what, TJ?
I don't.
You have a mouth guard?
Thought about it.
That'd be I would definitely have it, especially driving. I would want because I clench my teeth bad, so it'd be interesting. Like I would
I
want
think
to
I
have
kind of do
something.
too.
You play football, you better get
Well,
a mouth guard.
Dude, I'm telling you, I almost want to.
I probably need one.
Zach, I wanted to tell you, I almost need a mouth guard for when I'm lifting, dude. I'm starting to like,
You can actually do that. That's showing.
You know,
I think, like you said, prove your strength by like 10% or something like that, just so
What?
you can like exert the force through great.
TJ, you never thought about that? Try
crazy.
racing. It'd probably be hard on your breathing, I imagine, though.
but don't, I mean, you're breathing.
That'd be
Are
worth
you in
it.
communication with your crew too while you're racing?
Yeah, yeah. You're plugged in on the radio.
Yeah. So you're
So you can't have a mouth guard in, huh?
well, as long as you could talk, like maybe.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you can talk with a mouthpiece, man.
I couldn't. There's no way. While going 170 miles an hour, what the hell? No way. You know,
Right.
I mean, I like trying to push it out of my mouth and then trying to take a hand off the wheel to push it back into my mouth. Like it would
yeah,
be
that's
like
totally
it would be
true.
a safety concern. I think it would be a safety concern.
They had like custom molds, so and I still got mine from my playing days to this day. They got like custom molds, so it's not like distracting when you put it in. It just form right
Right.
into your teeth and gums, and you can talk pretty clearly.
I haven't worn a mouth guard in a long time. I like dip my shit in hot water.
Mark, you know what's
That's the
funny?
old school way.
Yeah, it's the old school way, man.
Totally.
Mark, you know what's funny? Like when I first retired, like, and just noticing, like I noticed I always clench my teeth. Like playing football, I always had like a mouth guard in, like so I had to really focus on unclenching my jaw because I always walk around like I got a fucking mouth guard in, like ready.
Well, I
to,
mean, if you can
I
tell,
think
I
about
mean,
that.
a lot of us don't understand how much stress we actually carry in our jaw. If you take a moment here and you just kind of just hang your jaw,
I
and
love
like you
doing
let that stress kind of like roll off of your
yeah,
shoulders.
TJ's doing it.
You know what I mean? Like we actually carry like all our thoughts and our emotions kind of like it brings it up when we're like we're just trying to get through the day, and a lot of stress resides in the jaw.
The
For
most.
sure, man.
TJ, I got another question. So, like, what is your team telling you, like in the headphones? Are they like cheering you on, or like telling you
faster.
strategy, like relax? Oh, really?
Go faster.
You can only go fast as the car will let you, though. Like how
All
fast?
you got?
Oh, really?
No. They're good. I think they'll try to just like, there's a lot of like, if somebody's quicker than you, there's strategy in it. Like, so they're like trying to, there's a head game that's coming up in like 5 laps if you have this pace, So like if you can run this, you're going to be here. And so they've already calculated it and they try to, give you that. But there's only so much strategy they can give you because it's like a sprint race, The
And you
other
talking
one-
back to them or what?
Yeah, I try. I'm not the best at radio
Oh,
communication.
really? Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're not a talker?
I'm not
You
like
isolate in there.
yeah.
You isolate in that cage,
Like-
don't you? Yeah.
Totally. Is
So
that a
you
thing?
don't really communicate a lot. No. I mean, of course, I'm a clinician and I like to use those words.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So no, I would just, I mean, you're more so kind of just like taking in data and taking in information rather than communicating and having a conversation.
I almost wish that like I could just, without having to press a button or something, like I could just talk and like say it right away and be done. Because like just even like like going and pressing a button like kind of takes me out of it for a second, and I know I can get back in it.
Right.
I just don't. I don't like doing it.
Like
See,
out of your
that's-
zone, like you stay
well,
in your
see-
flow, like stay in your flow, stay in your zone.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
something I didn't expect. I mean, I like watching people race, but I never assumed that you had to actually push a button to communicate on your mic. I thought it was just a live feed the entire time.
It
And when
probably
you would
should be.
stop talking, you know what I mean? It should just be, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's
actually-
what I had assumed that, when looking at that, like, of course, I'm speaking more so like NASCAR when they have like the in the car camera footage. You know what I mean?
There should probably
Excuse me,
be.
all my
I mean,
questions.
an open mic would be, it'd be great because like the stuff we would hear would be so good, so juicy. Because that probably so much stuff gets said that's like you don't want to be aired, you know.
Right.
But that'd be great. That'd be great if the series did that. It would just wreck
That's
'em.
kind of like how they do it mic'd up in the NFL. I'm pretty sure they got
Yeah.
tons of wild stuff that they just don't broadcast.
You
So
know
is it
they
just
do.
mic'd
I
up?
know they-
It's like
I
open
know
mic the whole time.
Yeah, they want a mic the entire time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, there's clips
good.
of Lamar Jackson going around going, "Hey, I'm mic'd up. Don't talk to me
don't-
today.
don't say
Don't
no."
talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
me. I'm
That's
mic'd
how it
up."
was that's how it was every week. Like if you was mic'd up, you had to tell people like, "Bro, I'm mic'd up," because people be talking crazy. You saying some crazy shit. You don't want to get caught slipping on a mic.
Yeah, totally.
Talking to your homeboy and he mic'd up.
It's great.
I'm wearing a wire.
So I think, yeah. So TJ, the other component that we really focus on at Sage Elite is the spiritual realm, really, and really how we can, how do we operate within that spiritual realm in regards to our ritualistic behaviors, our consistency and dedication to our self-love and self-care. If you don't mind, how do you operate within that spiritual realm? Are you an active participant? Do you do a daily practice? And that could be anything to prayer, meditation, to, to be honest with you, lifting weights is a meditation and it makes you, in my eyes, it makes you get closer to the spiritual form of your creator, So I guess, explore that realm with us. How do you operate within that realm?
I think like I usually use hiking as like my like church, I feel like doing it
Yes.
on Sunday or something. I really like it because it's just, you can kind of just embrace it, enjoy the whole thing. I meditate. I try to do that on, as much as I can, semi-regular basis. And yeah, like I feel like lately my spiritual practice has just been like trying to trust in the guides and the process, and like the guides are there and like you just got to be present with it and through meditation or life's ups and downs, opportunities, like you kind of just try to, I've been trying to listen to the signs. And that's been like my latest thing this year.
Speaking my language, TJ. The number one goal that we need to really operate within is just staying as open as possible to whatever message we may receive and whatever experience or educational experience that we may receive. And so, yeah, hiking is where I found, my creator. That's where I connect. That's where I really try to get everyone else to experience that and get them up there. Even tomorrow, I'm getting ready to go up to do a nice hike, and boy, it's snowing up there, and so I can't
it's
wait.
snowing
That's
in
when we actually had we got like 3 inches last night, but I'm going up by Estes Park, and I'm doing the Twin Sisters Trail, so we're going to be getting up to like around 12,000 feet and stuff like that, and it's all
TJ, you
snow.
hike that?
No, that sounds
Or
intense.
you California hiking?
California.
California
California
hiking.
hiking.
Different hiking.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, that's where the creators are, up above 11,000 feet. It's a totally different world.
Dang.
TJ, what's your favorite hike?
I did Half Dome this year. Half Dome at Yosemite.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. We were lucky to like get the permits to go on the cables, and like it's intense.
Okay.
You're not ready for like
Yeah. I've
You're not ready
I've
for
never done it. I've
How long
seen
is it?
pictures, but yeah.
too long, way too long. Like, it was such a long day. We left camp at like 7 a.m. and didn't get back to camp until 10 p.m. And we were hiking the whole damn time.
Nah.
That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mark love that type of stuff. I can't.
You know, that's
What did
yeah.
you feel like mentally leaving there, TJ?
That was
How'd you feel?
It was frustrating. It was very frustrating. It was just
Oh, frustrated.
there were so many steps. So many.
Yeah, I know you had to get like 20, 30,000 in. I know that.
It was crazy. It was like 45,000
Yeah,
or
ooh.
something.
Oh man,
Ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a day. That's a day
So-
right there.
And it's like
when did
8
you do
miles.
this, TJ?
It was in the summer, and it was like it's 8 miles of like
This past
going
summer?
Up. Yeah, it was like August.
Oh shit.
It was recent.
Oh nice.
And it's like 8 miles like going up though, and you're like exhausted by the time you get there, and then you have to do the dome, and it's like you go up the round part of it, and it's like they have cables on the side of the mountain that they've like staked into the ground, and then you just like you go up it like a ladder. It's the craziest thing because like both ways, it's just like you're gonna fall for a long
Death.
time.
Yeah.
Death,
Yeah.
Oh man,
super death. Like
Death.
you wouldn't do it again?
I probably would.
Oh, you would.
Okay,
would.
there you go.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
go with him, Mark.
I'm all about that. TJ, we get athletes that come out and visit us here in Colorado, and Brandon and I, Zach, you weren't there this time, but Brandon and I, we took a group of players through Rocky Mountain National Park.
Big boys too, TJ.
Big voice.
Like 6'3", 250 at least, all of them.
How far
And we
did you have to go?
did a nice. It was about a 7 mile hike, and
Tell them the weather.
and it was nice and beautiful out, but there was a bunch of snow on the trail. So every step you took, it was high
Crunch,
knees, fellas,
crunch,
high knees,
crunch.
fellas. Brandon, tell them
Damn.
how you felt on that hike.
That shit. It felt like TJ. It felt like football training camp. Like that shit was it was so hard. Like
Really?
I've never been pushed to the point to where I wanted to quit, but I couldn't quit because I'm in a mountain. Like what am I gonna quit? Am I gonna quit on myself? Who the fuck is gonna pick me up? So I'm like,
Right. And you're just walking.
either I'm gonna quit going, or I'm gonna stop bitching. Yeah, like either I'm gonna quit going, or I'm gonna stop bitching. Like I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So I finally got to the point. I'm like, one step at a time, one step at a time.
Dang,
one
you're
step
really
a
at
time.
that
That's the
point.
only way. Like you said, I had to like be present, or I was gonna like quit.
Yeah.
Like I was ready to give up. Like I was really
Dang.
pushed to that point. Like
So the snow really makes it
this
like
shit was crazy,
horrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't, I mean,
and
if
the
you have-
incline of it, the elevation of it too. It wasn't just the snow; it was just a hard hike in general too.
It was a hard hike, but that I think that's the beauty of it, and I think that's what I find in hiking, and I'm sure that's what you find in it, is that there's a little bit of grind to it. You know what I mean? There's, it is a workout. It's a beautiful experience. Yeah, we're going to skip through the meadow emotionally and see beautiful views, and it's going to be great, but it's almost, it reminds me a lot of, here, sorry for my football reference, but doing those 100-yard bear crawls,
Yeah.
right? Where your coach
Exactly
blows
what
the
it felt
whistle, you take off sprint and he blows the whistle, you do a bear crawl, he blows the whistle, you stand up, you take off sprint and you do like 8 of those. And it's just like, you're going to grind like that. And a lot of people don't understand that grind about hiking. It's very similar because it's internal. I remember when I was coaching football, it's like, you learn a lot about yourself when you're doing a bear crawl and there's like sweat dripping in your eye. And
yeah.
it's hot out and you don't want to fucking do it anymore. And your coach is bitching at you and, all your team's bitching at you too. Like you learn a lot about yourself there in that moment. And it's very similar in hiking, is like, you start to see the group spread apart. You start to see whose body starts to slump down. You start to see where it impacts it. Really great
That
stuff.
shit was so hard, bro.
I can only imagine, man. I like the hike, but them long hikes, I gotta warm up to that. Cause
TJ, didn't you go to Grand Canyon?
I haven't been yet. I want to go. I want to take a road trip.
No, GCU. No, I'm talking about the school.
Oh, I did do school online there. Yeah.
Oh, you went online? Okay.
Oh, I was
I
asking,
didn't
did
go
you have you done Camelback before? That's the only reason I was
Camelback.
asking.
Okay, Camelback. I've heard about it. Pretty good hike.
Oh, you never done it? Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It's like a hike that Zach's scared of. Yeah. I'm gonna get him out
I
there though.
this thing,
I'm
I
scared
went
of
up
it.
there before he did.
I did it before he did.
This is like way back in 2015.
We
So,
talking about 2022.
so
That ain't my
TJ,
big muscle.
as we get ready to wrap this up here, I really just wanted to, where do you see yourself moving forward here in the next couple of months? What you got? Any big plans coming up for you here?
Well, we just got in the off
And
season.
the races
so,
coming up. Okay.
Yeah, like basically the racetrack stuff. I'm done for the year, and there might be one more desert race for the year. We'll see. Like might be in December. And then yeah, like right now it's just trying to put stuff together for next year. Like every off season for a driver is like for the most part really uncertain, and like you got to try to find sponsors and put stuff together, and just a lot of unknown.
Wow.
Like
So
you
this
have to
is
make your own schedule type thing, TJ. Like you make your schedule. Like you pick what
Yeah.
races you want to do.
Well, yeah, like pretty much the league that you want to be racing in, and like kind of like you pick where you want to be at, and then that's kind of the league you pick, and then
Huh.
yeah, try to like make it happen. Like get in it, you got to find the money
Yeah.
to back you, and so there's a lot. Like the off season sucks, It's like it's so stretched out.
You have an agent, TJ?
No agent, just do my own thing, and
Oh, so it's, oh,
Yeah.
you do it on your own. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's another component of being an elite athlete, where you're a race car driver. These two fellows here are former athletes, where the off season is also very uncertain for a lot of football players too.
Yeah.
I see that's something that I would never associate. So I want to take just a couple minutes.
yeah. What's
here
your
and focus
mind
on
like,
that.
TJ? Are you nervous? Like,
You know what I mean? What's the off season look
Unsettled.
like? I mean,
Unsettled for sure.
are you a free agent every off season? Is you have to treat every off season like a free agency?
No, I mean if you get like if you kind of put something together in October or September and it's like it's set in stone, then you're good. Like you have a 2-year deal or whatever it is. But yeah, a lot of the times the opportunities happen for a year and then kind of assess, and usually like too much money was spent. It's always going to be that. This is like
The bottom line
expenses.
and looking at what worked, what didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
TJ,
So-
can you get like release in the middle of the season? Like, football, some players get cut. Like, is that a thing in racing?
Yeah, for sure. Usually it comes from like crashes happening. It's just like crash a car too many times.
Like, what happens? Like,
You gotta fix
Crashed
it.
too many times.
Yeah, you crash, you like wreck the car. Like you've wrecked the car like a couple times. Like it's a lot of money to put the car back together, and it just puts the team in a bad spot. So it's like that's really like you have to be fast and you have to be clean. That's what makes a good driver.
Yeah,
'cause-
I'd be released. I'd be released by week 6.
lost all sponsorships. Yeah, smashed 10 cars.
Rubbin Racing is
Yeah.
painted on the side. Get out of my way. TJ, did you see that I'm spacing on the race driver's name, a race car driver's name, but where he slungshot himself around the wall as he was
Yes.
trying? It was
the
on the last lap.
craziest move.
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty smooth too. That's the old slingshot.
He was prepared to die,
Yeah, like I'm making that cut, dude.
no matter what.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's insane.
TJ, like, what's next for you? Are you at the top of are you at the top level where you trying to go? Or are you trying to get to NASCAR? Like, what's next?
Yeah, like that's I'm open to like wherever this thing takes me. I think what I wanted to do is race like 24 hours of Daytona, do Le Mans. Those are kind of like the natural steps to go if you're in sports car racing. But that's like long endurance races, and right now the Porsche Cup series is cool because it's just like it's the sprint format and it's really easy to follow
Right.
from like the fans' perspective. I think some of those long races, they have different classes and stuff, and it can get just like for the lay fan, it doesn't really make sense. You don't know where the race is. It's like there's so many cars that have been going for so long. It's so loud. It's just like confusing and tiring. I want to be here. But like the 40-minute race is cool because it's just like it's a battle. You know who's in the lead. It's like it's gonna be fierce every lap. It's like a street fight. So I know that I want to stay in that, or at least try to put it together. Because we'll be racing with Formula One, next year for a couple races. So,
Nice.
yeah, just, we'll see. We'll see at this point. I know I'll be off-road racing.
What's like the biggest differences between like racing NASCAR and F1? Like obviously the
Everything.
cars is different. Like what's the biggest? Like what's the difference between like Bubba Watts and then like what's the guy that does F1? Like the
Lewis.
yeah,
Hamilton.
like what's the difference between those two guys?
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton.
So much. I mean, it is racing, but it's completely different. It's almost like different sports. Like,
Oh, it is.
yeah, it's like different disciplines, I guess. Maybe difference of like lineman and receiver.
Ah,
It different skills. I think like in F1 you have to be so precise and so consistent and like putting the car on the edge. Like in NASCAR, those cars don't want to turn or brake or stop or do anything. So like they're so heavy. So it's like a totally different like way to drive the car. But I think the things about going fast are all the same. It's pretty simple. It's like you just got to be the quickest person there.
what makes it like a driver? Like what's the difference between like what makes a driver like elite, like Bubba Watson? Like there's guys, like what makes him like the best guys? What's the difference between the guys at the bottom and the guys at the top?
There's probably there's definitely talent there, and then
There's talent.
talent for sure. There's talent
Is it like organizational?
What do you mean by talent? Like what talent is it in racing?
in racing. It's
I don't really know.
it's hard to explain, but it's a feel thing. It's like it's when you see like a running back or an athlete that's just like has this crazy sixth sense for like getting tackled. They can gyrate their body in this crazy way that's just like, how do you even do that? Like people are able to do that with the car and things that are like impossible to replicate at speed because you're like doing this crazy thing at 100 and whatever miles an hour. And it's like dancing with the car in this like super crazy way. And like, yeah, also putting the car on the limit is like sometimes pretty scary, like in high speed corners. So like, if you have that feel, like you're going to be faster than somebody else, So it's like, if you can always have that feel, that's what makes people better. And some people just have this natural inclination for that,
Like there's people like born to race. Like some people are born to play football. There's people born to drive.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, like growing up and doing like driving stuff too, like even, dirt bike or whatever. But I don't know. I've seen people, because I did just like coaching at the school and like random, just people off, they'd come in and just do a session and like random people would just have like a skill for it. And like, I hardly even had to coach them and like, they'd be doing it. And you're just like, there'd be other people that come in and they like know about racing and they're totally like fans. And then they come in and it's like, they got nothing. Like I can't, it's not going to happen for you, Like we can work at this, we'll work at it, but it's never going to happen.
You just ain't getting it.
Yeah.
I feel that.
You just get it. Yeah. And then I think the other part is just like adversity, like the elite. There's some adversity or something that makes them special. That's able to, they've like gone through it. They've fought through it. Some adversity that like
Some
makes
form
them
of
different.
resiliency that carries them through.
Like, do you have an example you can think of, TJ?
resilience.
Like,
Yeah,
what's
like-
resilient? Like, what's a resilient driver?
Maybe a driver that didn't have like any backing when they were younger.
Like financially?
Financially, like very little. And they had to like sacrifice a lot. Like Lewis Hamilton and his story it's kind of like that because he didn't have a ton of backing. He had enough for his dad to like help him do it, but he needed help like the whole way. And so whenever he just drove to like, because they sacrificed so much to be there, like he didn't want to let his parents down. He wanted to like,
Yeah,
he
so
would
he had
do
a different,
whatever
he
it
had a different
took.
mindset when he was driving.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
He would make the most of it. Like he would do whatever it took to like make the most of it because they sacrificed so much. So like that instilled him in him like super young, just makes him a different driver.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, it separates you from just somebody that's like doesn't have it.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's awesome. Well, my man, TJ, it's been so awesome talking to you. I want to wrap this up here. I
been
want to be
fun, guys.
mindful of your time. Dude, it's been so awesome. I'd love to have you
I'm
come
so
back.
interested.
Yeah, I want to sit here and ask you so many more questions, and I want to be able to connect with you down the road too. So, thanks
For
again
sure.
for coming on, TJ, and I wish you the best of luck on this upcoming season.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Stay
Yeah.
safe, drive fast, TJ.
I want to see this.
Drive fast,
Thanks,
man.
guys. I want to see this place in Boulder soon too. It sounds like there's a lot of great stuff going on over there.
A lot of great stuff coming up for us, and yeah, dude, you always have an open invitation, VIP access.
That's awesome.
All right, my man.
Cool.
All right, dude. Till
All right,
next
guys.
time.
Thanks, guys.